All right, the Reds, it is Talking Reds. It is Talking Reds on Tuesday. It is Talking Reds in a wet, rainy, dull, grim Liverpool city centre. But Mo Stewart is here to provide you with some football sunshine. We have got the Champions League tomorrow. We have got the Champions League tonight. But we've got the Champions League tomorrow in terms of the Reds. In terms of tonight, we have got Chelsea at Real Madrid, 3-1 down. And we've got Bayern Munich at home to Villarreal, 1-0 down. But before all that, Mo, the dust settled a little bit now from the weekend. We've had all the analysis, everyone's had their say. All the pieces have been written, all the shows have been done, the radio's been on, all of that.
All of that stuff, yeah.
How are you feeling about it now?
Still the same, still okay, but with a nagging feeling of, I wish we could have won that game. And I mean, that doesn't really necessarily reflect the totality of the game itself, because if you look at chances and domination, they probably had more scope to feel like they should have won it than we did. But at the same time, you think about the psychological advantage you could be in ahead. Like, the thing that keeps coming back to me from 18-19 season is watching City week in, week out, begging their opponents to do something and then being disappointed. Like, I can't be asked for that again.
I know. We are, in fact, no spoilers, Mo, but we are, in fact, talking about On Three Strikes, which we're recording straight after this, which if you subscribe, you can listen to. One of the strikes is a title race. And is it enjoyable? Might have been a little spoiler from Mo there. And another thing we're talking about is the Touche complaining that the different substitute rule in this country is a disadvantage for him in Europe. Could just be that you got tonked in the first leg, mate, to be honest. But again, no spoilers on that one. Just on the games tonight, Mo, what do you reckon? Because I think most people expect Bayern Munich to blitz Villarreal now.
I think it's really interesting for me because that is the expectation, but Bayern, because they did it to Salzburg in the last round. So Salzburg got a 1-1 draw, I think, at home, and everyone was a bit like, oh, they had chances to win that game, they're probably going to regret it, and then they did. I think it was 7-1 in the second leg. So it's easy to look at that and just think, okay, they're going to do the same again. Villarreal probably should have won the first leg. They created loads of chances. But the thing is that that's not in the vacuum, though.
1-0.
They could create lots of chances in Bayern as well. I don't think it's as cut and dried as everyone thinks that Bayern are just going to steamroll them 4-0. That might happen, but I don't think it's as guaranteed as everyone does. The other one, I'm interested in the Chelsea-Real Madrid one as well, simply because it's a 3-1 lead, isn't it? And that's what we've got. And okay, yeah, you'd say Real Madrid's a bit closer in quality to Chelsea than Benfica are to us, but it's still all about game management and those kind of things. And I'm interested to see how the team who's down attacks it, because I'm still not 100% sure how Benfica are going to approach it coming to us. I don't know whether they're going to try and take it late and then nick a late goal, then make us get nervous and try and steal another, or are they going to go gung-ho?
I mean, their only chance in the first leg, though, was, down to a Liverpool mistake.
It's true.
Canate, and, okay, they've got Darwin Núñez and he scored a hat-trick in the last game. You've now got their manager saying he's worth the same money as Felix went for, 130 million or whatever. I mean, he's 22 and he scored 31 goals in 36 games, which is good by anyone's standard, and everyone's being linked with him now. United, City, us.
Yeah, it works.
But he can't do it on his tods. I mean, I think he gets a chance. He's likely score, and that you can see the form, you can see the goals from the weekend. But equally, did you see the goal they conceded?
Yes.
And it was like, yeah, I mean, if you're going to do that against Liverpool, all the best.
That was my big thought before the first leg, is that as good as they are going forward, they have big issues at the back. And I think the home leg is going to be a better opportunity for us to exploit that. I can imagine us kind of approaching it a little bit from the perspective of, we're not going to try and go gung-ho from the beginning, because these are the kind of games, in theory, that you can kind of reserve a bit of energy. You don't want to be thinking about the weekend when you're playing the game, but obviously that's just nature. That happens. So Liverpool aren't going to be trying to blitz them. But I do think if we get an early chance and take it, game changes massively.
I mean, there's a potential 2 hours on a penalty shootout on Saturday. Hate to break it to you all. And, that's going to be heavy going against Man City. Like, I can't see it being played in the same manner as the league game. I just can't. I just don't think, the players can do it. I don't think the managers would look to do it that way. But with that in mind, with that potential at least being there, how many changes do you think he could make? Because, you know, he could change both full-backs, he could change Kanate for Matip, he could make changes in midfield, he could bring in pretty much a different forward line. What do you reckon?
For me, I think there's two fellas who you worry about playing 3 games in a week, and that's Matip and Thiago. So I would expect both of those to get a rest. Outside of that, I think it's up to what Klopp feels training-wise. I mean, it'll be interesting to see what he takes from the first game against City, what changes he makes personnel-wise based on that. I think Diaz starts at the weekend, so it'll be interesting to see if he starts midweek, maybe give him a run, because he didn't start, obviously, against City at the weekend, so maybe give him...
Gotta rest Mo, though, surely, for this one.
I would.
Yeah,
but then I would have for the first leg. We have to wait and see. I mean, he did kind of have an improved performance. It was probably the best. The second half was the best we've seen from him for a while, so maybe there's the argument to say, oh, it's fine, Klopp expects him to be getting better now, so maybe run him into form, so to speak, but I'm like you. I'd be giving him
I'd have him in some kind of, like, tank of water in the dark or something, floating around and just saying, lad, just get yourself ready for Saturday, mate, and don't worry about it. Like, I kind of think, you know, if you're playing like Firmino, you know, you could throw Elliott, you know, there's loads of players kicking about that could get a game in this one, and I think it'd be good enough. You know, Gomez coming in, Gomez did a pretty decent Trent impression last time he started. Tsimikas the other side. You know, you've got to keep some rhythm, haven't you? You've got to get the game won. You don't piss about in a quarter-final, all of that. But I didn't see too much from Benfica that worried me in the first leg, I've got to be honest.
The other thing you've got to think about is that, as we mentioned earlier, there is 5 subs in this.
Yeah.
So that means that you can maybe give a Tsimikas 60 minutes and then see where the game
break glass if needed.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, they rested players at the weekend as well. They actually went 1-0 down, didn't they? So... yeah, I'm just not sure about them at the back. They might create a chance up front, and like I said, they've got this lethal lad there who's now one of the most wanted players in Europe, but I mean, we should be doing it.
The key, I think, is also Rafa Silva. We did a good job of keeping him quiet for most of the first leg. Obviously, there was that period where they were dominant. But if we can keep him quiet, keep a man on him, I don't think Nunes will get as many chances, and therefore they won't have a chance themselves.
He just got the one, as I say, in the first leg, put it away like. Okay, let's see what we've got in the comments then. It is live, this Talking Reds. We would like to know where you're watching from, by the way, so if it's like Dubai or Dovecot, Highton or Honolulu, just give us a shout and let us know. So we've got in the comments from Tom Norman, not related to footy, but I don't mind. Who's the better Scouse band, Lightning Seeds or Space?
Ooh, I'm going to have to give it Lightning Seeds.
I think Lightning Seeds as well.
Simply just because of longevity. Tunes have stayed around, been on Match of the Day, all of that. And Ian Brody's worked with a lot of other bands as well, so he earns an extra credit.
I like Space though. I think they had a little... They burned brightly and then they faded away. They were also a completely different band once upon a time. You know, they were very like Zeppelin-y and they never had Tommy doing that. I don't even know what you call it. That's that mad singing style thing that he did. My beautiful neighbourhood, all of that stuff. They never used to do that. They just sounded like another Scouse Zeppelin-y band, and someone must have got hold of them somewhere and said, "Change this, boys." And then the next time I went to see them, I was like, "Whoa, where's this sound come from?" But it was good.
It worked.
Okay, what else have we got? We've got Come On Villarreal from Tom Darby. We've got, I'm not reading that out. We've got Man City need to play Wolves away. That's a fixture I wouldn't fancy. That's interesting, that from Ian, because I think we're all doing that now, aren't we? We're looking at the fixtures. I've seen a lot of content around that from the mainstream media. They're going, well, where do City slip up? What's the one that, you know, you're worried about? And they're all doing the thing as well of saying, like, there's a massive, well, not massive, but there's a big piece in the Times today about how good Spurs are, how they've already had a big say in the title race, you know, like unbeaten against City, well, no, beat City over, right, didn't they? Drew against us, on form, all of this kind of gear.
Yes.
They played the most through balls, Liverpool concede the most through balls, Son doesn't miss, all of this
kind of
gear.
It all looks set up to be perfect, and you can make that argument because you got the facts in front of you. However, there are things that you can't really see that we have to factor in, and one of them is the fact that this is Spurs. Like, you can't predict that Spurs are still going to be this good in 2 weeks' time simply because it's Spurs. Now, you can say all of the numbers and all the stats produce a picture that says that's going to be the case, but it's Spurs. You just can't guarantee it. So I'm less worried as everybody else, but it is interesting, the whole running thing. Like, anyone who's been on my Twitter page or my Instagram page will have seen I just put up something that we did yesterday where we literally dove into all of the fixtures for Liverpool and City, analysed how many points each are going to get. I won't tell you what the result was, you have to watch it, but it was close.
Johnny Plug.
And hey, got to earn a living, what can I say? Also, the point I was trying to make off the back of it though is that we both predicted both teams will drop points between now and the end of the season, which when you consider 18-19, Liverpool won the last 9, City won the last 14, it would be tempting to say that. But again, City only had the FA Cup because they were literally going out of the Champions League at this point of that season. We were well out of the FA Cup. Those extra games, because the point with their Wolves game is we don't know when it's been played yet, because it depends upon if they get to the next round of this, if they get to the FA Cup final. So there's still so much indecision about that. There's
loads of things that can change, isn't there? You know, the play injuries and all kinds of things that can influence it. It's a constantly changing picture, isn't it? And it's not done by any stretch. And we've just got to sort of live it. And it'll be all horrible. And it was horrible last time. And I'm doing spoilers for I mean, Tottenham have won the last 4, I would say that. And it looks quite impressive when you look at it. You know, 4-0 against Villa, 5-1 against Newcastle, 3-1 against West Ham. 2-0 away to Brighton, but the game before that they lost 3-2 to Man United, and they're shite.
The thing is, though, we are,
and they got knocked out of the FA Cup by Middlesbrough.
We are concentrating.
And Conte was throwing his wig in at one point, wasn't he, saying he was leaving?
Yeah, everyone seems to forget about that Burnley game like it didn't happen, but that's my point. That happened at a time when everyone was bigging up Spurs, and they just threw a game in like that. And also, we are very much fixating on those 3 fellas up front, because when you're in a fight with teams like Arsenal, West Ham and Man United, if you've got 3 strikers like that, you can kind of take the advantage because they don't have that. They don't have a great defence.
We're just watching, by the way. Last year, you know, Page Moss or Porto, Nogsy or Nigeria. We've got, someone says, Ethan says, I'm watching from Costa del Skem. Good on you, lads. Enjoy those roundabouts. Maybe you should get a station one day, eh? I know that's not down to you. You fucking need one, don't you? Benfica rested 6 players in their league, says Kochman. I think Vertonghen was suspended, wasn't he? So he'll come back in. It's Spurs has become a cliche. He's popping back at you there, Mo.
I mean, things become cliches because they happen a lot, essentially. I mean, you can be a cliche and still be correct. That's kind of how parody was built.
Christian's watching in the dingle. In the dingle, in the dingle, in the dingle. Where else? USA. I mean, that's general, that, mate. Come on.
It's a big place.
Need a bit more there. Tom says he's watching in Woollybackland. Another Tom says he's watching in Melbourne. Nice. Trev is watching in Rome. Hiya, mate. I know who you are. Your sound. Someone else watching from Skem. Skem massive. Ronnie Hot Dogs is watching from Great Sankey, Warrington. He said himself watching from Wool Territory. Carlos is in Cape Town. Grizz is in Luton. We've got someone in Accrington, someone in Tel Aviv, someone in France. I knew this would be good. Deutschland, Galway, Colombia. This is sound. This Alicante, Beirut. Okay, no.
I mean, we should be writing these down and doing the tour.
Sound this. And then we're going back to actual questions about the 40 now. Someone said I'd go and try and blitz them for the first 45.
I mean, from the perspective of getting the game won, done and dusted, I like that perspective. I like that idea. I don't know whether or not we will do it. I would probably do it, but I just suspect that we're going to try and play this game in not quite second gear, but like with the hand very much rested on the gear shift from all the game.
We've got Tom Darby asking thoughts on the new Klopp song. I love it. I think it's great. Obviously, the Beatles, famously Scouse, etc. And I Feel Fine is a very good Beatles song. So I'm into it. I don't get any negativity around it. It's popped up from somewhere. Someone's made it up. Well in. It's something to sing. It's something new. It gets everyone going. It gets everyone bouncing. Good.
The thing that I found was funny was the thing we were talking about the speed of it. And
yeah, I get that.
And I mean, sometimes
everything
you can
get speeded up though.
You can be a bit precious about these things. And the point is you are trying to sing it. But we were discussing this and the idea about having a drummer, just someone to keep a beat. But then it's like,
someone would say that was Wool.
Yeah, exactly. Someone would say that was Wool.
Yeah.
And all of the examples of having drummers at games probably bear that out. Like, it's just like one fella doing doom, 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 which you wouldn't want.
It's a bad job, that, as well, isn't it? Like, if you're facing the crowd banging a drum, I mean, like, you couldn't do this afterwards. What did you think of that? Just saw faces, mate, of banging a drum. Drums at England behaviour, says Daniel.
Well, see, this is the point, isn't it?
See,
but
there you go.
You need something to keep time, I think.
What about a fella with a loud hailer? Get Jay McKenna's loud hailer out from Spirit of Shankly days.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Get him on the front of the car.
Oh, yeah, he'd love that.
Like LA in 2018, it popped up from the Reds away in Portugal, gets said there. We've got some more places coming in. Shanghai, Kidderminster, which apparently is a hotbed for the Reds. New one on me. Brighton, says Frank. Someone says, get a vuvuzela.
Okay, now we're going a bit crazy.
Now I'm going to end the show. A kazoo gets a shout. I'm presuming that's not where you're watching from. I'm presuming you're suggesting someone brings a kazoo. Villarreal. You're watching from Villarreal? Sound? Any pottery? Do you guys have the running stats from the City game? I can't find them. I've never been able to find them. No. I don't think they're publicly available.
I was literally looking for them earlier today.
Might have to be on Y Scout or something like that. I don't know where they get them from. I've looked for them before, and they're not on any of the main statty sites as far as I know. Is Skem still the home of the largest roundabout? I don't know about that, Tom, because you know what? Once upon a time, Huyton had the biggest roundabout in Europe, and also it had one of the biggest Asdas. So you know what I mean? Get yourself to Huyton. Whoop whoop. It's got some restaurants now.
I mean,
going up in the world.
Are you actually part of the Huyton tourist board, or do you just read the leaflet they sent out?
No, I'm regularly there. Someone's, well, look at that timing. We've got someone saying they're watching from the banks of the River Alt. Malaysia is a shout. Costa del Butel, Salzburg, Loch Lomond, go ahead. Chicago, Old Swan, St Albans. On the taxi rank at Chester Station. Strasbourg, Darlington, Knotty Ash, go ahead.
Nice.
Brisbane. Someone says, have you seen the Boot Room movie on BT? I was at St Etienne. I haven't watched it yet. Have you watched it?
Yeah,
good.
Dead good, yeah.
Yeah, I want to watch it. I just haven't got round to it yet. South Wales, France. City will drop points. That's all the comment says. Just City will drop points.
Hey,
I'll
take it. I'll take it.
I'm into it. Well, let's see what they do, and let's see if they do drop points. And we have got, of course, a Champions League game before all of that tomorrow night. So hopefully you are getting stuck into the content. There will be all the build-up, there will be all the during and after as well, like there is around every single game that the Reds play. Download the app and get on that. Go and have a look at the shop for T-shirts like these. Get yourself kitted up for... Well, probably not Wembley now. Probably be a bit of a rush for Tom to get that here. But, you know, certainly the rest of the season and stuff, summer's coming eventually when we get out of this shitty rain. That's a mad question.
See, I always think this, right? You literally open up the gates of hell sometimes, and sometimes you're going to be facing a demon or two.
Have you seen the Jimmy Savile documentary on Netflix? I haven't, mate. I think it's a bit weird that they made one, I've got to be honest with you.
Yeah, agreed.
Is it a coincidence your name is Rob Bo Huyton? That is just a rumour. My name is, in fact, Gareth Roberts. Someone says, watching from Egbert. Someone says, the Skem tourist board lied to me. That's about the roundabouts. Someone said about wearing a bulletproof jacket. Don't know what for. Both Skem and Huyton are lovely places, full of lovely people. Come on. How are we feeling about Saturday? No, it's City at Wembley, but the FA Cup is still way down the priority list for me. I just don't think we talk priorities.
No.
We're just at the stage of the season where you just go on out and trying to win them.
Well, the biggest difference between Saturday coming to Sunday just gone for me is that I'm going to be at the game.
Me too.
And so after the basic drenched sweat heart attack of watching the game on my own, I think I'm actually going to be better with everybody, because sometimes other people's nerves infect mine and make me worse. But if I'm nervous already, seeing other people nervous as well, it's kind of like, oh, okay, we're all in this, fuck it, let's just all go. So I do think it's going to be a much more enjoyable game for me being there, not just because obviously we get to see it. But
How are you getting that?
yeah, that's the problem. Because I got my ticket quite late, so I'm doing the mega bus. Not only am I doing the mega bus, but I'm doing the mega bus an hour and a half after I do a 6-hour DJ set on Friday night. So, if you see me at Wembley around about 2-3 in the afternoon, please make sure I'm still awake. Maybe buy me a pint.
I mean, definitely by 3 because it's kicking off at 3:30.
Oh shit, yeah.
Akshay says he hates Megabus.
Yeah, I do too, mate.
Ryan asks if you're half Jamaican.
I don't think half counts. Maybe, I don't know how they do it. Second generation.
There you go. Skem kept me awake many a night when I was on the security at Matalan. Happy days, says Gary. I mean, you don't sound it, mate. I genuinely think Saturday clock goes with just one change from the weekend. Bobby coming in for Jota.
I think there was definitely a case where in the first half he was the one who was the most obvious missing. Like Rodri had a bit of a field day, and that's normally Bobby's job to keep on him, isn't it?
Yeah. And we've got some 2 shouts, some people watching in Runcorn. Sean says, watching from Runcorn, are we thinking big changes for tomorrow? Rewind, we talked about that. And Terry says, watching from shitty Runcorn. So is that new or old town?
Maybe it's east and west.
It's new and old town, isn't it, in Runcorn? I used to work, it all started for me at Runcorn Weekly News. That's where I did my first bit of work experience as a journalist. Great days. We're going to go. We're going to leave it there because we've got to go and record 3 strikes. We've got other stuff through the day, previews, under the lights, all of that kind of gear. So get on it, get the app, get involved. Up the Reds. That's been Talking Reds.